Yeah, yeah, yo. Yeah, yeah, yo. Hi, yeah, yo. Yeah, 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 la, yo. Yeah, yo. Good Shabbos. This, I think, is the toughest spot in the whole Shabbaton, which is when everyone's arriving and super excited to celebrate this ingathering. Someone just said this is an ingathering, and mamash me'arba kanfot haaretz, from the four corners of the earth, we are gathering to celebrate this very special rabbi who is schmoozing somewhere over there and doesn't hear. But so I'm gonna try and learn some text, but I don't know if it's possible because if there's people talking in the background, they're going to have to schmooze out there. Rabbi Evan Crane. Oh, is that what? So very excited. We're going to have a Bissela Torah before we daven tonight as we're leading into Shabbat Kitisa, Shabbat Para as well. And I'm just going to ask, honestly, if you want to come study, please come in. And also, if you are in a schmoozing place, I do not want to stop you, and I please schmooze. But if you could do it outside, that'll be much easier. So, I wanted to just jump right into the heart of the matter, since we're entering into the week of the golden calf, into the week of what my teacher, Rabbi Art Green, calls our original sin. And I wanted to come to the place of the shattering, this moment where Moses comes down the mountain and shatters these luchot, these tablets. And I thought we would start reading together, doing somewhat of a close read. And I'm just using this mic now. Now we can, maybe I don't. I'm using the mic. Yeah. I think there's some on a chair, maybe, or they might be gone. But wanting to jump in with a close read. So first, just some background where we are in Torah, some contextual. What are we building right now? What have we been building? The Mishkan. We have been building this in-law apartment for God, this place for the Holy Presence to dwell with us in this home that we're building together. And we're in the spot where it's still theoretical, it's still all blueprint. And Moses is receiving the download of all the instructions from the divine on the mountain, right? Moses has come up and is spending a really long one-on-one with God. And while Moses is up there, what happens? Right, and where does it come from? The golden calf. The people. And why? Lack of trust. We're nervous. We don't see Moses. He's gone. It's a long time. And we need something, and I'll talk more about this during the service, but there's this desperate need to recreate a connection and a leader and a holy object. So we make the golden calf. God, so here, we're back up on the top of the mountain. The camera keeps moving between up and down to the people and to this very intimate conversation between God and Moses. Let's read. We have some Israelis in the front row, so I'm just going to pick on you to just start us off in Hebrew, first 2 verses, and then we can move to English, and if you want, you can be in Hebrew simultaneously. What's your name? Rachel? Okay, start us off in Hebrew.
You want it to read?
Yes.
וידבר אדוני אל משה, לך, רד, כי שחט עמך אשר העלית מארץ מצרים.
One more.
סרו מהר מן הדרך אשר ציוויתי, עשו להם עגל מסכה, וישתחוו לו, ויצעקו לו, ויאמרו אלה אלוהיך, ישראל, אשר העלוך מארץ מצרים. ויאמר אדוני אל משה, ראיתי את העם הזה, והנה עם קשה עורף הוא.
Oh,
קשה עורף.
oh, oh! I mean, I have a sore neck, but yes, beautiful. Oh, okay. I mean, I could listen to you all day. Truth be told, it was that was a beautiful, dramatic reading. And now, I like to hear other people read. Just because there's a microphone, I'm going to read a little bit. Please read along in Hebrew English. So Hashem spoke to Moses, "Hurry down, for your people whom you brought out of the land of Egypt have acted basely. They have been quick to turn aside from the way that I enjoined upon them. They have made themselves a molten calf and bowed low to it and sacrificed to it, saying, 'This is your God, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt.' Hashem further said to Moses, 'I see that this is a stiff-necked people. Now, okay, let me be, that my anger may blaze forth against them, and that I may destroy them and make of you a great nation.'" Okay, any questions so far where we are? What is anything you notice in the Hebrew and the English that you just want to, Please. Oh man, okay, yeah. Oh, okay, no, this is a great question, and I'm gonna just punt it to Rabbi Paley or Rabbi Sid Schwartz right now. Why a calf? Why a calf? Sure, I don't know. This was over here. We have a question of why is it a calf? Yeah. And was a god in Egypt, maybe as well. Yeah. What? Wow.
So in my view, why a calf? Because a calf, which is a throne to God, will draw God, or maybe at least Moses, because God says to Moses, you took him out of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, draw God back down to them. That's why I think it's a calf.
Wow, so it's like it's part throne, part catnip. It's divine catnip. What?
Museum in Turkey with another Jewish mission, and they had a whole glass, vitrine of little eglets.
Oh my gosh, little calves.
All of them were seen as thrones for God. Hittites did it, Sumerians did it, Ethiopians did it. They all did it. All thrones for God. So I think that's what they meant to see when they thought of God sitting on some throne, little calf. I don't think it was an idol. I think they wanted God.
This was it. Ooh. Psh. See, this is the best place to ask questions because you have multiple rabbis in this space who are going to bring different perspectives. So thank you for your question. All right, so now we're going to build up to real high drama of the scene. Moses implored God, and I'm just going to move. I'm going to move between the Hebrew and the English. Okay. Okay. ויחל משה את פני אדוני אלוהיו, ויאמר למה אדוני יחרה אפך בעמך, אשר הוצאת מארץ מצרים בכוח גדול וביד חזקה. Why? How? Why? Oh, I can't go between. Okay, God said to Moshe says to God, let not your anger, God, blaze forth against your people whom you delivered from the land of Egypt with great power and with a mighty hand. Let not the Egyptians say it was with evil intent that he delivered them, only to kill them off in the mountains and annihilate them from the face of the earth. Turn from your blazing anger and renounce the plan to punish your people. Okay, verse 13, remember your servants, Abraham, Isaac, Israel, and how you swore to them by yourself and said to them, I will make your offspring as numerous as the stars of heaven, and I will give to your offspring this whole land of which I spoke to possess forever. So Moses is using all of the greatest techniques of facilitating the divine that he can muster and saying, please back off from your anger. Remember what you promised. And not only that, remember what the Egyptians will think. So trying to bring God back from the edge of destruction, of destruction of the whole people. Thereupon Moses turned and went down from the mountain. And God renounced the punishment planned for God's people. Thereupon Moses turned and went down from the mountain, bearing the 2 tablets of the pact. So now Moses is descending the mountain from God, who is now saying, okay, you're right. I mean, we don't hear God's voice, but God has said, I'm stepping back from what I had promised as punishment. Thereupon Moses turned and went down from the mountain, bearing the 2 tablets inscribed on both their surfaces. What does this mean? Double-sided. It's that thick on both sides. They were inscribed, not just they were inscribed on both their surfaces, we even go on to say they're inscribed on the one side and on the other. The tablets were God's work, and the writing was God's writing, inscribed, incised upon the tablets. So what are we building? What are we building up here in these tablets? What are we infusing with them with? Wait, I don't know. What did you just say? I couldn't hear it. Sorry. Sacredness. Like we're painting now the picture of the ultimate. This is the holiest. This is the divine hand is alive in this tablet. And when Joshua heard the sound of the people and it's boisterous, he said to Moses, there is a cry of war in the camp. So Joshua, who's been standing down between the people and between Moses at the top of the mountain, hears this noise, hears the sound, says there is a cry of war in the camp, but Moses says it is not the sound of the tune of triumph or the sound of the tune or response of defeat. It is the sound of song that I hear. And as soon as Moses came near the camp and saw the calf and the dancing, he became enraged, and he hurled the tablets from his hands and shattered them at the foot of the mountain. First question. It was okay. So one comment here, he's very hot-tempered. Why did Moses shatter the tablets, the holiest of tablets? We're going to look in a moment at some of our rabbinic visions of this moment in the scene, and what it took for Moses to take the holiest object known and throw it down. This gift that he had just received, this precious gift from God. So I want to get a sense first from the Chevra here. Why? What is it that causes Moses to throw it down? Why didn't he just throw it down? Why did God let him go with it? Why didn't he, up there say, no, take it, just take it? What is it that causes this action? Just any theories? I mean, there are some more readily available than others. Theories of why does he throw it down?
Well, in a way that we're supposed to hear Torah anew each time, in the way you dramatically told this story this time, what occurred to me that hasn't occurred to me before is that when when God allows Moshe, instead of God deciding up there what would happen, and Moshe pleads for the people, and I think in a way what God sets up is the first opportunity for Moshe to have his own experience of how easily we go astray. And so just thinking of our own experiences of the sacred, if we go to a place that is sacred and holy, and then we come out of it. I remember once going on a trip down the Colorado River, and then being yanked out of that area by by a helicopter. That was not so good. But then the little plane took us to the Las Vegas airport to go home. The Las Vegas airport compared to like down along the river in the Grand Canyon. So, Moshe is going from up on the mountain with the divine, accumulating this wonderful knowledge, and then goes to Las Vegas down the
Okay.
just like must have been really for him. Not only did it anger him, but it must have been really startling also.
So you might say, interesting. So it's the shock to the system, this very cold water thrown on him, and he released the tablets. And I'm just to be transparent. The rabbis, it is very important to the rabbis, want to understand what was happening. Did he drop them? Did he, was this like a, right? Did the letters fly off?
The way I heard it was a man can't really carry tablets that big. So Moses had his hands on those tablets, but it was really God that was holding up the tablets so that he could carry them. And when they saw the task, God goes, oh, and throw the tablets.
Ooh, so it wasn't Moses who threw it. It was God behind. Yeah. Somebody in the back.
Yeah, so I don't know that Moses had a good alternative to express his extreme disappointment in the people that would have had an impact. And I suspect this was an enormous risk. He had no idea what the repercussions would be, but I'm not sure he had any effective alternative to kind of regain control of the situation. It was a big risk by doing it. It didn't work.
So was it a premeditated, like when he saw it, did he intentionally throw it down?
I think he did it. I think
Or was
he
it
did
rage?
intentionally. Maybe I'm not sure he was thinking about it. It was in the heat of the moment, but I'm not sure. I don't think it was an accident.
Okay, a couple more, and then I want to go in to look at some of our rabbis. Yes. Oh, wait, right behind.
I think the whole thing's a setup
Okay.
for the second shattering to happen. The people are described as Erechapayim.
God is described as Erechapayim. Is that what you're saying?
The people are stiff-necked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Kshe Oref. Yeah. Erechapayim is like really patient. Okay.
This is all about maturity, I think, and to teach us that Moshe and the people are both still in an immature state. Them not being patient enough is like an object permanence thing going on. Like Moshe disappears, where is that man? Is he
mean the second tablets need to be created, or do you mean the first?
That are yet to be created. That's
Got
why
it.
it's a Eilut Damim Ukra,
Okay.
yet to be created.
Thank you. All right. Yes.
And maybe it was just logistics. You walk into a room, there's a ton of music, dancing, and you have something you want to say, and you don't have a microphone, and all of a sudden that's the only thing that you can pay attention to me. You throw your
Oh my gosh.
tablet.
So this is amazing. This is a total beautiful re-envision of that. Right. It's song. It's dance. We don't know that they're actually worshiping and dance. So in this version, he comes down and he's like, "What? You're not going to listen to me? Like, what am I? Chopped liver? Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, before we take a couple more. Let's start. We're going to alternate with let's start with. Okay, this one is like the red herring. In Shemot Rabbah, which can be found in the Hebrew on page 2 and in the English on page 3, from What Did Moses Do? Somebody with a loud voice want to read? Loud. Just jump in and read loud. Okay.
Moshe do? He took the luchot from the hands of the holy ones, blessed be he, in order to calm his anger. To what is this compared? To a king who sent someone to betroth a woman through a middleman. She went and acted inappropriately with another. A middleman who was innocent. What did he do? He took the ketubah which the king gave him to betroth her and tore it. His intention being that it is better if she is judged as an unmarried woman than a woman who is married. What Moshe did was the same. When the Jewish people sinned, he took the fruit and broke them, so as to say that if they would have seen their punishment, they would have not sinned.
Whoa. So first of all, right, there's a couple different steps here. One is Moses actually accepted the luchot from God, knowing that he was going to break them, but he took them from God, saying, "We actually, God, we need God to come down here." And he then takes the tablets, the luchot, and then walks down, sees with his own eyes, and throws it down. Now, we're going into this very, oh, what? What are you even talking about? Okay, sorry. So now we're going into this very famous mashal, this very famous kind of mashal nimshal, how do you say? Example, parable, that it's like this king who was betrothed to this woman. And now the king sends the king's messenger to go to the woman and to make the betrothal. But the messenger knows that this woman, and of course it's always a woman in rabbinic lore that has acted, thank you, adulterously, and that this middleman both does not want her to be so greatly punished, and also does not want the king to marry her knowing what's happened, and so breaks the contract of marriage. So this is the nimshal, the moral. We are this woman. We have played the harlot. We've sinned. But in a very sexual way it's portrayed, and we are not now. Moses sees that we cannot be betrothed. We cannot be in this relationship, the relationship that is the center of the story. We can't. This is not an appropriate relationship. It is not a. It's not a betrothal that can succeed because there's already been trust broken at the center. But Moses, the middleman, does not want us to suffer too overly greatly, does not want, wants there to be still possibility for coming together. And so similar to what you said, Moses is breaking this contract, is ripping up the contract And by doing so, in some ways, allows the possibility of a new contract to be drawn before any marriage has taken place. So that's a very different portrayal of why he threw down those tablets. And it's a very premeditated one. Yeah, I want to, let's see, how are we doing? Any one comment? Anybody who wants to, yeah.
To a lot of balls to destroy something that God had created in order to set an example for people.
Right? Wow. Right. There's a concept of sometimes like a chilul, of desecrating God's name in order to raise, or desecrating Torah in order to raise up the divine. And that in some ways, this is what he's doing, like in order to save the possibility. And what kind of courage to take the holiest of there's nothing else this holy, and to break it. Right? And it's the people who have sinned, but it's God's word that is being broken.
I'm just wondering if maybe Moses just recognized in that moment that the people were not ready and couldn't accept this, and so had to break it in order to say no. The people had to be. Of course, I know the ending, so of course to say the people had to be part of the contract. It couldn't just be a one-way place, and so Moses just knew it in Moses' gut that they weren't ready.
Yeah. And that to protect both God and them, this is Moses in this place, which is a kind of a role that Moses often can be seen as playing as this go-between who's actually protecting the people from God and protecting God from the people. But to take God's word, like to destroy, that destructive is fascinating in order to protect. Yeah.
But then he has faith to go back and get new.
Yes, and we're gonna be.
A lot of faith.
Yes. Wait, we're gonna get to them. Yeah.
Remember, the people were still slaves. It was only 40 days after they left Egypt, and they are very insecure. They don't know how to deal with things without their father, Moses, who was their father, their teacher, everything. Moses should have warned them, like you warned a small child. If you would do such and such, you'll be punished. You should have seen it.
I mean, we did have Ein Mukdam U'Muchar B'Torah, but we did have the Ten Commandments just a couple weeks ago. That's pretty clearly, don't do this. Like, right.
Don't do.
Right.
But he did not warn them before he went there to write the
That's a warning. You don't think that? I mean, I would argue that that is a pretty significant warning.
Yes,
But you're like, they needed more because they were still in this infancy okay. All right, let's move because I want to see, and then I want to, okay. Oh, Rabbi.
One thing. So I'm pretty surprised by this first little phrase, lech red.
Right, lech red.
Lech red, they make in the Talmud they make a whole thing, lech red, and you can do it that way, Go down from your lack of humility, Moses. But still, if you read the text, it's pretty outrageous, which is that God says, you go down, and then I'm going to destroy the people, including you. I mean, otherwise, God would say to Moses, stay up here, I'm going to go and destroy the people. So then Moses must have said,
But God doesn't say, I'm going to make a whole people out of you.
what's that?
God does say, I'm going to make a whole people out of you. That means
even more so stay up here with me.
Right.
Even much more so.
Right.
Because second of all, they just made the baby is idol. I think it was a summer art project, but okay. And now he's bringing down an object, which is, remarkable and amazing. That will also become an idol. So maybe there's just this moment of iconoclasm, this destruction of it. And Moses did it with some anger. Lay grave. Get out of here. I don't want you anymore. If your people will be destroyed, I don't really need you either.
Yeah.
I don't need the whole group. I don't need you anymore.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go look at some anger. Let's look at Ibn Ezra. Somebody read real loud. You did a great job. So will you do it again?
That he saw the calf and the dancer. The verse should be understood as follows. And he saw the calf and the dancing around it. The calf served instead of another. Moses was overcome by great jealousy. Okay, he therefore broke the tablets which were in his hands and served, as it were, as a document of witness. Moses thus tore up the cockback. He ripped the wedding document, as scripture said. He did this in the sight of all of Israel.
So this, right? Again, it's a wedding document. Again, this is a shtar that he is ripping up. That is ending this relationship formally in this particular intimate moment. But it's for a very different reason. There's nothing, it does not look very premeditated. This is a man who just sees himself completely supplanted. He sees the golden calf, he sees the dancing, and he's jealous.
Why are you jealous? I just read it.
Okay.
I just told him. I did not know that Moses was jealousy. It
Ah.
says Kinat Moshe, even
Ken,
Israel.
Ken.
I don't know.
Kinat
Why was
Moshe.
he jealous from what?
Okay, anybody? Why do you think he was jealous? He sees all these people dancing. This is the,
Yeah.
right? These are the people.
Everybody dancing. Doesn't make sense.
I think he has been leading the people.
I just read it. What even Israel said.
Okay. Okay. So, anybody else want to jump in, or I'll go. Okay. So Moses has led this people up out of Egypt. He has been the one that they have been dependent on. He has been the human representative of the divine, and he has been at the center of leadership. And now he comes back after being away for 40 days. You snooze, you lose a little bit, but he was gone for 40 days. He comes back, and they are now worshiping something. They are worshiping something. What? With his brother, right? And his brother did, which, yeah. Does anybody want to add anything about jealousy in this moment? No. So you see Moses, like this action, it's not protective, it's actually just, he's throwing a temper tantrum. Okay. Yeah, these are all fair, very fair reads. Okay, so let's go to Sforno. Let me see. Yeah, okay, I love Sforno. Okay. Please. So he saw, וירא את העגל ואת המחולות ויחר אף משה.
Moses' anger was aroused over the fact that people rejoiced over the damage to themselves they had caused. We find something parallel in Jeremiah 11:15. For you exult in performing your evil deeds. At this point, Moses despaired of the people doing tshuva before being punished. They were no longer fit to receive the tablets.
Okay, so what I love so much in this text is the self-sabotage that he sees, the destruction that he sees of that they are hurting themselves and what they're performing, and he wants to prevent them from hurting themselves further and receiving even more punishment. Like, again, this is still this through line of the empathy for the people, that somehow they must be punished, but in some ways they know not what they do. Like, there's something that is still innocent, immature, not ready in them, that they shouldn't receive the severity of a punishment which they would receive if they received these tablets in the state of degradation that they were in. That it seems to me both, what he's saying is this is they they don't deserve them, clearly, and also like they let's not cause even more destruction. And there will be a lot of destruction, right? He's going to have everybody, he's going to mush up that calf and everyone's going to have to eat it. And there's 3,000 people are going to be killed. But that somehow still there is a sense of protection that Moses, even in the state of being replaced, even in this state um, of jealousy, perhaps, is still is protecting. Yeah.
So I see Moses having just been with God and saying to God, don't let your anger blaze. God says, I'm going to let my anger blaze on. And so Moses has been panim el panim with God, and God is super angry, and he's talked God out of being angry. But I can also see him still carrying some of that anger with himself and within himself, because God's anger must be amazingly powerful. And so he comes down, he's still carrying that anger with him, but he's also got the caring for them that he expressed when he told God to not do it. And so there's something going on within him that I would guess would be really intense.
Which is, and at the end of the parsha, when he's going to come back with, and he's right, and exactly this over intensity of the divine, which is, we can't. It's not in human ratio. It's what?
Human scale.
Thank you. It's not human scale, and he can't regulate, and he's full of not just the goodness of God. He's full of the whole complicated realm of God. I want to talk also for, sorry, Arthur. Yeah.
I just want to suggest what I'm hearing a little bit. This is the first time I thought about it this way. Is that first I thought about when you first talked, the word that came to me was agony. I would agonize how Moses was in agony. But as we talked and listened, I think that, and maybe psychosocial representation that we're hearing here, maybe, and then I thought about, well, Moses destroys this divine thing, and yet Moses is punished for striking a very natural thing. So he isn't punished for, and I'm thinking, so then it leads me to think, well, maybe what he's doing, and maybe I hear this in Squirrel a little bit, is maybe what he's doing is he's releasing it. He's dropping it. It's not that he's crashing it.
Right.
He's dropping it in resignation. And in that act, he's recognizing that humanity, as Karen said, is not ready for this, for the divine gift.
Beautiful. And also somebody here mentioned there is a midrash that all of the words were so ashamed of what the people had done that all of the words on the luchot flew away. And thank you. I also want to think for a moment about the punishment, because all of these rabbis are talking about, we don't want them, Roshan not wanting the Israelites to be punished so severely. And I'm thinking about the parallel story in Bamidbar of the scouts, of the spies, of the ultimate punishment. If we think about these as parallel stories, here as the original sin of worshiping the golden calf, and the punishment received is not severe. We get another set of tablets, whereas when we don't go into the land, we die, right? Everybody in a generation is killed. And these are, I'm not sure if the rabbis are holding kind of that punishment in their mind as what would happen if the marriage contract had been, if they were already married, so to speak, that, that kind of punishment. And it is very curious when, for us, the idea of worshiping a foreign entity, if we're not thinking about it, I love this other read, but if we're thinking about it as idolatry, this is, the worst of the worst. But that it's not going up into the land that is actually, and that's not, yeah.
I've been thinking about a different parallel story, which is the binding of Isaac.
Mm.
And it seems to me that story and this are maybe two most critical
So Moses' risk in throwing it down.
Moses' risk is just, destroying
Yeah,
this tablet as part of the covenant, and Abraham's risk was
destroying.
the son. Really huge risk. But,
Hmm.
for the sake of the covenant.
Thank you. I hadn't thought of those two in parallel. Yeah. All right, in the back.
So there's another midrash that says that when after the Jews wandered for 40 years, not a single mother, grandmother, or great grandmother perished for those 40 years. Because God recognized the importance of having those women there. Well, why were these women so important besides holding on to community history? And I think what we're overlooking perhaps is the importance of song. And in this particular section, it talks about song. But where's there a song that immediately preceded that? The song of the seas, right? The women sang that song. And Moses comes down from the mountain and he hears a song. Is it a song of worship? Or is it a song of warning? Is this the women who ultimately will be spared that are telling Moses, something is not right here? So don't look at the song necessarily as being something of rejoicing, but perhaps a continuation of the recognition of the importance of our relationship with God. And that's what the song is doing. And Moses is responding to that.
Interesting. So imagining the women are kind of keening or wailing, and it's interesting because there's also a lot of midrash on the men being the ones who are taking all the things and giving it for the golden calf, and so okay, it's interesting, and I think also you raised this important question of how we interpret sound and song and dancing, and when we're seeing it at a distance and we're seeing it, and as the reader, we are seeing it both from Moshe and Joshua's perspective as well as God's perspective. And we had, moments before been right there with the people and kind of what happens, like how do we interpret the nature of things that we are so central to our people, our history, and our practice. Which is similar also to like the difference. What is the difference between the golden calf and the Mishkan, and the interpretation? Yeah.
Now that we're getting back to talking about the sound and the music, and the sound and the song,
Mm-hmm.
even though this interpretation does not go a lot to the meaning, it occurred to me that the sound that Moses heard from the sound of the singing, the voices together, could have been so strong that the sound waves could have helped to break the tablet.
Ooh. Someone was like doing a really high note, and it. So there, let's look at one more interpretation. I love this as well from Chizkuni. Vayashlech miyadav. So he hurled from his hands. This is on page 4. Moses' physical strength left him when he saw with his own eyes the golden calf, and he was no longer able to hold on to the tablets. And he sort of threw them a short distance from where he stood, just far enough so they would not hurt his feet by falling on them. Right? Right? And also, well, the paralysis. Like, I think of this as, and I'm not sure, somebody, maybe it was you who spoke to this idea of God's hands holding under Moshe's hands. This was, and also here, this is a different perspective, but that this wasn't an act of throwing. Like, this wasn't a volitive act. He lost all body control, and he was paralyzed with, and it just felt, but he did it, Baruch Hashem. Like he kind of pivoted enough so it fell in front of his feet. So I wanted to just spend some moments with the shattering. I think often we think about the aftermath and the beforemath. We think about these tablets alongside the whole tablets carried in our ark throughout the wilderness. But I wanted to think about that moment of the breaking, and what it means, and what was the scene, what is happening in the body of, and the mind and the soul of this person, of Moshe, of this leader who is taking this contract, this covenant between God and the people, this holiest of documents, and what does it take, and what causes him to destroy it? And thank you for exploring together. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
So here's what we're going to do. The musicians need to do a sound check. So I'm going to ask everybody to please go get some snacks because you're going to need some sustenance before the next few hours of amazing prayer and dinner and speech and talk and all. So up and out, and we'll come back in about 15 minutes.
Good Shabbos.
Good
Shabbat
Shabbos.
Shalom. Welcoming everyone in. We might need to do another nigun because they're not sitting down.
That's
All right.
right.
Yeah, yeah, da, da, da. Yeah, la, yeah, la, la. Yeah, la, 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 la. Yeah, la, yeah, la, la. Yeah, please join us. Yeah, yeah, la, 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 la. Yeah, la, yeah, la, la.
Shalom Aleichem. Malachei Hasharei. Malachei Hasharei. Malachei Elyon. Melech. Malachei Amlachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem לשלום. מלאכי השלום. מלאכי עליון. מלאכי עליון. מלך. מלאכי המלכים. הקדוש ברוך הוא. הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום. ברכוני לשלום. מלאכי השלום. מלאכי הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום. מלאכי השלום. מלאכי עליון. מלאכי עליון. מלך. מלאכי המלכים. הקדוש ברוך הוא. הקדוש ברוך
As we're welcoming in all of the angels into this holy space, this beautiful Shabbos, and as we're welcoming in, gathering in each other, I was reminded earlier when we were learning of a very special quality that this person, this Rabbi Evan Crane, a very special quality that is, this is the divine quality that feels like it is of this Shabbos. And it's the one of Mikabetz Guluyot, of gathering in all of us who have been in exile in whatever places, or even if we're not in exile, but we've been somewhere. And this rabbi has a very special mission, shlichut, of gathering many in and bringing them into this wonderful, wonderful space. So what an occasion to get to celebrate in gathering and celebrate you. And also, Chazan Basi and I, you've in-gathered us. This is the first time we've gotten to lead together in many years, and it's such a blessing for both of us. I mean, I can't speak for you, but it's a blessing for me.
I'll speak for you.
And we were looking at some of the gematria of 65. Hallel. So that's what Kabbalat Shabbat is also, is a kind of Hallel, a singing of psalms, of praise, of joy and rejoicing. And there are some glorious sounds of prayer in this room. So let's sing together in Hallel in honor of a rabbi, in honor of ingathering, in honor of 65, Samechei. Let's stop it. Seh. Or I was thinking Seh.
Seh?
Yeah, which can be spelled either way.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another
Or
conversation.
Has.
Yes. So let's welcome in this Shabbos with prayers of Hallel. Higale now will begin with a poem from Yedid Nefesh, the bottom of the page, on page 8. Please reveal. Gale, gale, gale.
Frost Habibi alai Sukkah Shalom Gale, 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 na.
into our Hallel with a new song that is also an old song. Shir Ladonai, Shir Chadash. We're on page 12. Sing. Start all over again. Sing. Every atom. Sing. Bless the word and the thing itself. Each moment has its story of grace.
שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל העת, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בשרו מיום ליום ישועתו, שרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומולו מאוד, לא נחו על כל אלוהים, כי כל אלוהי העמים אלילים, ואדוני שמיים עשה, הוד והדר לפניו, עוז ותפארת במקדשו, העול אדוני משפחות עמים, עבור לאדוני כל עוז, עבור לאדוני כבוד שמו, שירו מנחה וברך שופטיו, ישתחוו לאדוני בארץ קודש, עילו מפניו כל הארץ, עילו אדוני מלך, על פתאום תבל ותימות, רבים עמים ומישרים, ישרפו השמיים ותגל הארץ, יהיה מרבה ולאור, יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו, על זה רננו כל הזיעה, לפני אדוני כי בא לשבות הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, ויעלם אמונתו. איי 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 איי
We lift up the songs. Romimum, Romimum, Romimum. And I forgot all the pages.
18.
Thank you. Something that I find remarkably special. The prayer always has to have an element of surprise for it to really be prayer and moving and alive. You can't know exactly what's going to happen next. And when you get to daven with this chevra, both here on the bima with Chazan David Abramowitz, with soon-to-be Chazan Lisa Sokolov, with Chazan Basi Schechter, and with Oren Nyman. No, more. It's amazing because you absolutely don't know what's going to happen next, because every kind of all the ions are bursting and the sounds and the music. Everything is lifting up, but it's not just here, it's here. And getting to daven in this chevra, connected as this chevra is, we can lift up some sparks and find some surprise in prayer. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. 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 Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Ki kadosh, kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Ki kadosh The divine voice is called out 7 times in the next psalm, Psalm 29. Kol Adonai. And this voice, some say at Sinai, we heard it in so many different ways. Each of us heard a different sound. Each of us received a different piece of Torah, a different piece of the puzzle. But there's a memory of that voice. Was it a whisper? Was it a tree shaking? Was it a river clapping? Was it a riddle or a recipe? If we listen closely, it's somewhere in there. We still hear that voice. And we sing it, we call, we invite it back in. With Psalm 29, Mizmor LeDavid, which is on
Page 20.
Hamul Adonai Be'eli,
I heard there is a minhag in this community of the Jewish studio to sing the last line, the last verse of this psalm, because we didn't get enough of it. So we need more. So the same page.
Adonai os le'amo yiten Adonai yevarech et amo Adonai os le'amo yiten Adonai yevarech et amo Shalom. Shalom. Adonai os le'amo yiten Adonai yevarech et amo Adonai os le'amo yiten Adonai yevarech et amo
Right before this next prayer, we enter into Ana B'choach. In the middle of the page, the words Yachid Ge'eh. But before we chant these words, take a moment in quiet, in feeling your feet on the floor, feeling your sits bones on the chair, feeling your shoulders release, and maybe your heart release, your jaw release, all that we have been holding in this week, each carrying a load, a burden, and allowing to rest, knowing we can't. This is the one day where we don't even pretend we can control. And feel your body, your breath soften. And we'll take 30 seconds to breathe in your own pace, in your own way, releasing into Shabbat. page 22.
יחיד גאה ליעמך פני יחיד גאה ליעמך פני
We welcome in Shabbos, we call to the Chadodi on page 24.
תפארתך עמי על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי קרב האל נפשי גאלה לך אדוני לקראת קלה בני שבת מקבלה לך אדוני לקראת קלה בני שבת מקבלה
התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך אדוני לקראת קלה בני שבת מקבלה לך אדוני לקראת קלה בני שבת מקבלה לך אדוני לקראת קלה בני There were many Shabbos brides in here tonight dancing and dancing and dancing. And now we enter into the mystery, the secret of Shabbos on page 30, Kegavna.
Kegavna dinu Nisyachadin yeila v'yachod V'fahaki Isyachadat l'tata V'razaha Raza de Shabari Shabbat Tisachada V'raza Diyecha Lemishvei Allah Raza Diyecha Raza de Shabari Shabbat Tisachada V'raza Diyecha Lemishvei Allah Raza Diyecha Raza de Shabari Shabbat Tisachada V'raza Diyecha Lemishvei Allah Raza Diyecha Lemishvei Allah Raza Diyecha Lemishvei Allah Raza Diyecha.
We rise for the Baruch. Which way is east? East. Great. Convenient.
Umavir umevi alayla umavdila ben yom uvein layla yatzevaot shema umavirayom umevi alayla umavdila ben yom uvein layla yatzevaot shema.
Baruch atah Adonai, ha'aviv aravim. Page 36.
And just like love is call and response, sometimes I like to say it's call and there's no answer. Sometimes it's chase and run away. And sometimes it's a perfect meeting and matching of heart and mind and that sweetness of time. Ahavat olam,
Ahavat olam,
Beit Yisrael,
Beit Yisrael,
Amcha avtam. Ahavat olam, Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Beit Yisrael, Amcha avtam. Ahavat olam, Ahavat Beit Yisrael, Beit Yisrael, Amcha avtam. We are loved by an unending and unending love. Unending love. Baruch atah Adonai,
Atah Adonai,
את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. תשמוע מצוות הישן לך מצוות גם היום יאמר אדוני אלוהים עבדו וכל לבבכם ולנפשך ונתתם את ארצי למיתו יום יום הכל ואספת תגנף את ראשך בצורף ונתתי עשר וסתך לבנתך ואחד ישמרו you should watch you should take attention be a breath of life the breath of place from the heavens and the rain shall pour down in its season and the fruit shall blossom the leaves shall grow the ground and the soil that you plant will grow. Use these reminders on the four corners of your garments. Bring them to your lips and kiss them like you do a lover. Clarify yourself and come to the place Adonai Elohechem Emet ומלכותו
ברצון קיבלו עליהם. משה ומרים ובני ישראל, לך אנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות Middle of page 48, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע היום לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני לא לעולם. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Hashkivenu, we pray for peace on page 49. If you can bring to mind where you're sending your peace tonight.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu malkeinu lechayim. Peace and health and prosperity, safety in our homes. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, baruch atah Adonai, apore sukat shalom aleinu. ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ועל ירושלים. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים.
Vishamru. You may rise or you may be seated, however you want to be right now. Whatever your custom is, we're on page 52 for Vishamru. No, I mean, yes, but no.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמרבה,
אמן.
עד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייך וביומך ובערך בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קר ואמרו אמן, יהי שמירה במבורך לעולם ויאמר המיה יתקרב.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשא לעילא וכל ברכתה ושירתה
זוש בחטא ודרך עבודה דאבירה ביומם
ויאמרו
Amen. We enter into our own silent Amidah, whatever is on your heart in your prayer. If you want to use the words in the text in the book, you can find it on page 58, 68. So I think there's options. You can find, and we'll meet up in a few minutes.
Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and in thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Ve'asuli mikdash ve'shachanti betocha v'anachnu nevarech Yah me'ata ve'ad olam.
Very special to daven an Amidah facing a painting you've never met before. And it's really special over the course of Shabbos if you find yourself connecting in different ways. It is to pray facing, it's a surprise. And it was, yeah. Sorry, just thought that was a PSA.
I was in the same place.
Right?
And I was like thinking that like this is like the chaos of my life and the Amidah is right here.
Oh. Nice. Wow, I was swimming. But it was a marsh. There's a lot happening in that water. So
That's awesome.
it's like Rorschach Amidah. Okay, why are there so many censuses in the Torah? Why does God count us all the time? Censuses don't make for scintillating reading. And our rabbi ancestors respond to this question with a mashal, a parable, often quoted. To what can we compare God counting us? To a queen with overflowing treasures. But for some reason, she's drawn to this small box of semi-precious stones in the corner that she just repeatedly comes to places in her hand. They're not flashy, but she loves them so much she comes back to them over and over, holds each one in her hand to see them with her eyes, to remind herself that they are here. So too, Hashem counts the Israelites lovingly, some might say obsessively, recalling each one of us, confirming our presence. If God needs reassurance, all the more so that we humans want to make sure our close ones are close and accounted for. I hear an echo of that long ago midrash in a scene from Winnie the Pooh, the house at Pooh Corner. It goes like this. Piglet sidled up to Pooh from behind. Pooh, he whispered. Yes, Piglet? Nothing, said Piglet, taking Pooh's paw. I just wanted to be sure of you. I feel like our rabbis, and maybe A.A. Milne, knew a thing or two about attachment. Maybe you've heard of this attachment theory. I feel like it's everywhere. The observation that human beings innately crave proximity to one another, or in clinical terms, to attachment figures. For infants, the primary caregiver or parent is the attachment figure, and all of our relationships throughout life trace back to this original bond. John Bowlby, the psychiatrist founder of the theory, argues that as humans, we're always monitoring the distance to the attachment figure. Is our physical and emotional closeness to them matching our desired level of closeness? Is their gaze, their body language, communicating love? If the attachment figure, parent, lover, teacher, friend, is perceived as unavailable or closed off, if there's a disruption or discontinuity in the bond, we lose our inner equilibrium. We might become clingy. My parents are here, by the way. We might become clingy or insecure, have meltdowns. I don't know if it sounds familiar to anyone. That's called anxious attachment. I think we know anxious attachment. But others take the opposite route, and when the parent is unavailable, they detach and resist contact. And this is known as avoidant attachment. So this is our blueprint. Our first primary attachment will pattern how we bond as adults. Do we respond to disruption and loss with anxiety and need? Or do we close ourselves off to those we love? And the goal is not to avoid disruption. That's not even a thing. But to learn how to cope with disruption and how to recalibrate afterwards. Attachment theorists Judith and Alan Shore put it like this: through sequences of attunement, misattunement, and reattunement, an infant becomes a person. All this is to say, I think that God has anxious attachment issues, but no judgment. But counting us regularly in censuses, this can't be so healthy. And God isn't the only one with attachment issues. A few verses later in our parsha, and we're the ones counting the days, the minutes, the seconds until one man will return. The object of our love, our attachment figure, is missing. Moshe, our primary human caregiver, who tells us when it's time to go or fight or bathe. And he has left the human plane of existence for a 40-day retreat, one-on-one with God on top of a mountain. But we don't know what's happened to him. We only know he's gone, and it's terrifying us. Kize Moshe, this guy Moses, I understand why rabbis sometimes have like big amuds. This guy Moses, Ha'ish asher ha'elanu me'eretz Mitzrayim, the one who brought us out of Egypt, lo yadanu ma hayelo. We don't know what happened. And we, the newly liberated Israelites, were stranded in the unforgiving wilderness with no parents. Did he abandon us? Will he ever come back? Moses! In a painfully unethical study in the 1950s, psychologist Harry Harlow separated newborn monkeys from their mothers and placed two substitute inanimate mothers within reach. One mother was a wireframe monkey figurine with a food dispenser. The other was a terry cloth stuffed animal monkey. Which mother did the babies choose? The squishy one. Almost unanimously, they clung to the soft, squishy, inanimate mother. The baby monkeys sacrificed food for the sake of closeness and warmth. The Israelites, too, could have done without the manna, but they can't bear to be without their mama, without Moses. His disappearance is a massive attachment rupture, and it sets off a debilitating anxiety that leads to indiscriminate clinginess, violence, and the search for a substitute. The rabbis imagine that the Israelites spiral into despondency and begin to even hallucinate. They see a mirage of Moses' corpse suspended between heaven and earth. He's not only far away, he's lost. He's not only lost, he's dead. And not only dead, he's in limbo between sky and ground, matter and nothingness. The Israelite imagination catastrophizes until the cows come home. Literally, for the next thing you know, we've demanded a substitute, a new attachment object to cling to, and a golden calf is born. all because we can't see Moses. Now we throw ourselves into full-body devotion of the new attachment figure, prostrating, dancing, gazing into its empty eyes. And as we know, it doesn't go very well. Moses comes down from the mountain, sees how he has been abandoned, flies into a rage, shatters the tablets, the covenantal bond with God, what would have been the ultimate symbol of our relationship. He melts down and pulverizes the golden calf and forces the people to drink its remains. All we had wanted was secure attachment, reciprocity, relationship, and that's all Moses wanted too. When he saw himself replaced by a statue, he ground that thing to a pulp and commanded the Levites to kill everyone who clung to it. A rupture has thrown the whole story off kilter and causing the original sin of our people. And it began with God lovingly counting each one of us. But now there's 3,000 dead. We all committed the ultimate heresy. The covenant is in pieces, and all because our attachment object was too far away to bear. In attachment theory, the question isn't how do we avoid ruptures? Ruptures are given. But sequences of attunement, misattunement, and reattunement are the DNA of our relationships. We've now seen misattunement, but what does reattunement look like? How do we respond when the object of attachment shows us their back instead of the face that we so desire to see? There are clues dotted throughout our parsha, and one is in the parsha's name, Ki Tisa, often translated as when you count. Ki tisa et rosh bnei Yisrael lifkudehem, when you count the Israelite people. But more accurately, I would argue it means when you lift up the head of each Israelite person. The beginning of reattunement includes a physical realignment, an unfurling from gripped fists and tensed bodies, lengthening from a place of bent-over shame into standing tall. It's lifting up each other's faces, ki tisa, to gaze into one another's eyes rather than to avoid contact. We also know from later in the parsha that this verb, nun sin aleph, also means to carry together, a joint lift. And stunningly, it also means to forgive. Nosei avon v'fesha v'chata, we sing, the one who forgives 3 kinds of sins in the 13 attributes. So when we hear forgiveness, we must also hear in this verb, nun sin aleph, to hear the act of lifting up, of carrying something together. In our society, we often understand forgiveness as an individual undertaking, a personal transformation, but that is not what forgiveness is in Hebrew. The beginning of reattunement is tshuva, and forgiveness, a process of lifting and carrying a shared burden. Moses returns to God and repeats over and over, "Let me find favor in your eyes." Moses, is lifting his head like a flower towards the sun, him towards God, and he is asking for the nonverbal cues of care, of reciprocity that were once integral to their relationship. He asks God to forgive the people and asks God to once again join him in carrying together, lifting them en route to the promised land. Moshe begs for realignment. Initially, God refuses. V'shalachti lefanecha malach, I'll send an angel before you, but I will not be seen in your midst. God says, I'm done with this project because you are a stiff-necked people, because I am so angry that I would destroy you if I went with you to the promised land. God says, I'm not coming. You'll get to the promised land without me. I'll keep that promise. I would say here God is practicing avoidant attachment, But Moses persists. If you aren't going with us, don't send us at all. Do you hear what Moses is saying? We think about this as fulfilling a promise to change our address and zip code to travel to the promised land. But the ultimate goal of the whole project isn't getting there. The ultimate goal is going together in relationship, carrying together, realigned. And guess what? It's going to be messy because it turns out that God and humans are complicated with attachment issues up the wazoo. But after the golden calf, we reject going to the promised land with some angelic substitute attachment object. Yeah, sure, angels are much less complicated, and they're efficient, and they're focused, and they get us from here to there. But that's not what this is about. That's not why we accepted Torah. This is about relationship. There is no milk and honey without you. And God exceeds and says to Moshe, you have found favor in my eyes, and I have known you by name. And so God and Moses begin to reattune after rupture. And now the whole project of Torah can continue after Exodus chapter 33. And Moses and God, they start meeting one-on-one from a place that's a little closer, just close enough so the Israelites can see where they are. We are all wired for social attachment. We bond, we fear, we cling, we run away, we endure rupture, and we learn from our earliest relationships and Be'ezrat Hashem throughout the relationships in our lives what it means to return to each other, to the divine, the cycle of attunement, misattunement, and reattunement. It's a holy cycle, but it's the reattunement that is the holy of holies. As our praying instrumentalists can attest, retuning an instrument does not happen in a vacuum. It's always in dialogue with other instruments. We learn to retune together, we learn to forgive together, and we practice it over and over and over until maybe, just maybe, we are ready to receive a second set of tablets. Please rise. V'hashevota, el levavecha, ki Adonai, hu Elohim, v'hashevota, el levavecha, ki havaya, hi Elohim, v'nemar, v'haya Adonai, lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo You may be seated. If you are in mourning or if you're observing a yortzeit, if you're in Shiva or Shloshim, please rise. If you are in the first year of mourning, please rise. And if today is a yortzeit, please rise. And please share who you're saying Kaddish for.
My father is 18 cancer.
My father,
Your sister Karen?
my mom, Marcia.
Your mom.
Father of my sons.
My brother Robbie.
Sarah Duvall.
My dad, Mordechai.
My son. My husband.
Miss anyone?
Chaim Topo.
If it's your custom to rise for Kaddish Tov, for Mourner's Kaddish, please rise. And the words can be found on page 116. Yitgadal, Yitgadal, Shamei, Rabban,
Amen.
Yamad, Yirah, Yirtzeh, Yamid, Yirtzeh, V'chayivon, V'yimechon, V'chayei, V'chol Beit Yisrael, V'aganav, B'shman Ha'rolim, V'yimru.
Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Le'omei Amaya.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה.
Rifu.
אלא מכל ברכתה ושירתה. תשובתה ונחמתה. אבירם ועלמה יאמרו.
Amen.
יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה. חיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו.
Amen.
עושה שלום עמם. יעשה שלום עלינו וכל ישראל. כל יושבי תבל ואמרו.
Amen.
Yehי zichron baruch, may their memory be for a blessing. We want to call up Rabbi. First of all, we want to know if there are any announcements.
There's always a rolling announcement.
Do you want a microphone?
No, thank you though.
Okay.
This is as good as Judaism gets. This, beyond my hopes and dreams for tonight. You guys are just, what a gift. What a gift. Yeah. I'm verklempt. And we're not done. There's a delicious dinner waiting for us in the social hall. And I know we all love each other and want to talk, but move quickly on to dinner because we're not done. We've got an amazing speaker joining us to round out this evening of soulfulness and filling your tummies and your minds as well. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to my community. To those of you who are like family. To my family. My amazing wife.
Judy.
Blessings on all of you.
Happy birthday, Rabbi.
Today, we had a different one. Wait.
Yesterday was your birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Your name in Hebrew is Evan, and that means stone. The tablets were made of stone. May we hold you in our hearts and never let you go. May your navel crumble on the floor. We love you lots. Happy birthday, Reverend. Yom Huledet Sameach.
Oh,